Hey you guys, it's Katya with Hindustan Astrology here, and in this video we are going to go over the month of July 2025 Vedic sidereal astrology. Okay, now this month is going to be big because we have Saturn is going retrograde, we have Mercury going retrograde, and we have our big Mars K2 conjunction that's taking place on July 20th. And yeah, we can see it. I know here in the Midwest, we're in a heat wave. I don't think it's going to get much better until Mars moves away from K2. Um, yeah, so, just a lot of things up in the air. Let's get started on our transit presentation. Okay, so here we have our presentation for July 2025. This is Appa. She is the goddess of water, and we have our full moon in Purva Ashada this month, so I thought it would be fitting to put her as the cover. All right, let's get started. So right off the bat, our first big conjunction. Now remember, you guys, I do daily forecasts over on my website, hindustanastrology.com. I do post them on Instagram, but they are longer than what Instagram allows. So if you want to read the full thing, you have to go to my website. Yeah, it's just a brief, letting you know where the moon is, where the planets are related to the moon, and what to anticipate for that day. So the transits we do in this presentation are like the big ones, right? Okay, so we have July 4th at 8:34 a.m. EST. We have our Venus-Uranus conjunction. It is at 5 degrees, 39 minutes of Taurus. So you see here, this is for our full moon, but you can see they're here together in Taurus. And this is just, sudden things, sudden shifts in relationships. You could suddenly meet somebody, you could suddenly break up with somebody. Venus in her own sign also is very tied to wealth, especially in Taurus. So you get a sudden windfall of money. But, I've found whenever any of the outer planets are conjunct Venus, there can be attacks on women. It comes in different forms depending on which outer planet. So with Uranus, it's like sudden attacks, right? I'm just saying, be careful, don't leave you're out somewhere, don't leave your drink unattended, don't leave your water bottle unattended at the gym, that kind of thing. But it is going to add, a dynamic energy to our relationships, kind of spice things up. So that could be positive. On a world scale, though, honestly, this could mean war. Historically, whenever Uranus has been in Taurus, the United States has always been at war. And Venus is about values. Yes, she's beauty, love, money, all that kind of stuff, but she is our values. And, when you collect values together, they become what? A religion or spiritual path or a cult, right? Or a nation, right? So we could see, unfortunately, things getting heated up again overseas. Now, the same day, so that's in the morning, right? So at night, 5:33 p.m. EST, Neptune goes retrograde. Now, these outer planets, when they are stationing retrograde, it takes, we feel it for coming on, and we will feel it the rest of the month, right? But the actual day that it goes retrograde is July 4th. Sorry about that. I think the timer is on. But what I want to say is, this is our national holiday here. You guys, please, please, please be careful around water, especially if you have children and a pool or a lake or the ocean or whatever. There's nothing more tragic than seeing a child die from an accident that could have been prevented. Okay. And especially it's in Pisces, which is water, and Uttara Bhadrapada is the serpent of the deep. So it can indicate, shipwrecks or sailing problems. I would just say if you are a sailor, if you're on ships, just be careful. I mean, Yeah, that's all I can say. Is just please, please be careful on July 4th. Then July 10th, we have our full moon, which is at 24 degrees, 37 minutes of Sagittarius, Purva Ashada. And this is the chart for the full moon here. Let's see, where's our ascendant? So for Bloomington, the ascendant is actually Libra, but DC is about 6.5 minutes ahead of us. So for DC, the ascendant will be Scorpio. But I think it will still be Vishaka. Yeah, still Vishaka. Vishaka, it's the triumphal archway. It's the star of purpose. These people love to compete. They can be very jealous, especially on the Scorpio side. But that would put these planets for the United States in the 7th house of the opponent. So, and guess what also Purva Ashada means? Declaration of war. So unfortunately, I'm going to call it around July 10th. We're probably going to get, somebody's going to break the ceasefire, I think is what's going to happen. And Neptune also, it's not just water and things like that. Neptune is illusion or delusion, right? Dreams or deceptions. And it's sitting with Saturn. And this is, about working hard to make your dreams a reality, but it can also indicate cults. So, yeah, I feel like, there's going to be some big lies that we're being told with this Neptune going retrograde. And honestly, what I have found is that when Neptune is direct, that's when the deception really is. You can't see anything for the smoke and mirrors, right? The fog. But when Neptune goes retrograde, it's like the fog clears and you finally see the truth. So we might actually get some whistleblowers from cults around this time. That will be interesting. And then this full moon is just going to bring everything out. So let's talk about this. So full moon in Sag, we do have Jupiter-Sun opposition. And the same day as the full moon, Jupiter goes out of combustion with the Sun. So that's wonderful. Actually, these two are probably going to be tied together because, like I said, lies being exposed. When Jupiter is combusts the Sun, our wisdom is not so sharp. We're not thinking from a place of truth. We could even be trying to obscure the truth. When Jupiter's combusts the Sun, it's like we can't tap into our wisdom, Now he's stepping away from the Sun. Jupiter can operate much better. And he is in opposition to the moon, which is a Gajakesari yoga, which is lion-elephant combination. It brings good luck and new opportunities and protection, right? Jupiter is protecting the moon. Let's see, what else do we have going on? Well, we have Mars is inching up to K2, and on the 20th will be conjunct. So from the moon, Mercury's in the 8th. Oh, that's an even more indication of secrets coming out. Yeah, Mercury loves being in the 8th. Rahu in the 3rd. Well, third house is media and communication, and Rahu there is, smoke and mirrors. But there's an emphasis upon the media at this time. So I cannot wait to see how this plays out. Like I said, for DC, United States, the ascendant will be Scorpio. And so that would make Mars the chart ruler, putting Mars into the 10th house. So that is an emphasis on the government. Yeah, there's probably going to be attacks on the government. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. On a personal level, and don't forget, you guys, sign up for my newsletter, which is on the homepage of my website. Once a month, I put out a report with all of this stuff. So you will have it all conveniently in one email, and you can refer back to it when these dates happen, right? But on a personal level, And I talk about that in the newsletter too. I give a prediction for all 12 signs for the whole month. This is a time for standing up in what we believe in, okay? This is a time for us to declare the truth. Maybe even, honestly, if you're teaching at this time, if you're a teacher, if you're doing a workshop, whatever, this is an excellent full moon for you. Purva Ashada is, it's declaration of war, but it's also people that declare things, that get up on a stage, right? A professor, a priest, a rock star, right? It's about professing things. And it's a great time for study, honestly. It's very highly creative too, especially with Mars in Purva Falguni, Moon in Purva Ashada. Super creative juices around this full moon, so take advantage of it. It's our pain in life that pushes us to be creative. So really reach deep down into yourself, and I think you might be surprised what you come up with. Okay, so let's move on. So July 11th to the 20th, we have July 13th at 12:08 a.m. EST. We have Saturn going retrograde, 7 degrees, 43 minutes of Pisces, Uttara Bhadrapada. So Saturn, and is almost, it's in the same degree, the same minute, degree, not minute, but Saturn and Neptune are conjunct as it is stationing. This is the Mars K2 chart is what I put up here, but it just happens to be on the 20th that they are exactly conjunct. So, and this is a 6-8 to Mars, but let's back up and let's circle back to this, okay? Saturn going retrograde happens every year. It's, it's not anything to be frightened of, but it is a time for us to slow down in our work, to take a step back, review things we've done. It is a time for us to, really focus on being patient. And, Saturn is the grandfather time, right? So machines that calculate time, your watches, your phones, your computers, TVs, all of that kind of goes a little bit wonky when Saturn goes retrograde. So like if your watch breaks, this happens to me like almost every year. I have been very, very careful with my smartwatch this past year because I don't want to buy another one. Because every time Saturn goes retrograde, my watch dies or accidentally gets thrown into water or something. Well, I have a water lock on it, and I found if you use it too much, it will eventually kill the watch. So I have not been, going swimming with my watch. I'm praying that this Saturn retrograde doesn't kill my watch. So that's the kind of thing that you can see, right? And it's in Pisces, and like we talked about, Saturn in Pisces is working to make your dreams a reality. And Neptune retrograde, you could be fighting out some things about your work that you didn't know before. Just going to put that out there. And then Saturn will go direct on November 27th. And he's still in Pisces. So he doesn't leave. He almost goes back into Aquarius. So I'm really glad he doesn't, because he needs to stay away from Rahu right now. But yeah, it's 5.5 months, almost 6 months out of the year he's retrograde. So, use this time, find out where it is in your chart. If you don't know your Vedic sidereal signs, you're going to head over to hindustanastrology.com, click on the free chart calculator, put in your information, and scroll down, and you'll see all of the things. You want to look for your ascendant, which is your lagna, your moon, and your sun signs. That's how you'll read any reports on my site. But find out where, your Pisces house is. That's where it's going retrograde. Those are the things you're going to feel like you're having to go back and review again. And jobs from the past can come back too, I've found, honestly. Okay, let's move on to July 18th at 12:45 a.m. EST. We have Mercury going retrograde at 21 degrees, 21 minutes, Cancer, Ashlesha Nakshatra. So Mercury is sitting with the sun. Um, you know, like I said, don't be afraid of retrogrades. It actually makes the planet stronger and it makes the planet brighter in the sky. So this month, Saturn, look up when you get, at outside at night, get on your star map and look up and see where Saturn is, see where Mercury is, because they're going to be very beautiful. But Mercury retrograde is a time, obviously, be careful of communication, documents, signing contracts, really review things. Find where your Cancer house is in your chart, okay? See what house that is, and that will tell you what's going to be affected. Um, pull back from pushing forward on projects, review, edit, revise, okay? And Mercury Cancer honestly doesn't do so great, but what it is good for is intuition and psychic abilities. So this would be a great time to do some practice techniques for your psychic abilities. Keep a dream journal. If you are keeping a dream journal, look back over your entries. There might be something you forgot about and it will crop up during this time. So that's the best way to use Mercury in Cancer, is to really focus on your intuition. Okay, July 20th, here's the big one at 9:33 p.m. EST. Mars K2 conjunction at 25 degrees, 25 minutes, Leo, Purva Falguni. Look at that. Look at those numbers. Isn't that wild? Okay. Who's Mars? Who's K2? Mars is the soldier. K2 is the body of the serpent without the head. He is likened to Mars. So, in the way that uh, Mars, he is, like I said, he's the soldier, but he is about defending territories, right? And K2 actually represents flags. So, what do you think we're going to see on this day? Do you think we're going to see some fighting over territories? I think so. And like I said, I think it's going to start with that full moon on the 10th. Um, so yeah, for the United States, this is going to be in our 7, 8, ninth house. And the ninth house is the house of law. So there's probably going to be some fights in the courts. We're going to see maybe some verdicts on some trials. Um, Definitely, we're going to see people, our opponents, violating, um, you know, treaties and things that they have agreed to, right? Ceasefires, that kind of thing. I just think it's going to be very messy. Stay out of people's way. Don't start fights unless you absolutely feel like you need to defend yourself, like there's something you need to say or there's something that is wrong. Just try not to fly off the handle, right? Try to stay calm. That's the best advice I can give you. It's not worth it. It's road rage is not worth it. Um, Smashing things is not helping anyone or anything. If you're feeling frustrated, take it out. Go to the gym, right? Put the boxing gloves on and hit the punching bag. Hit your pillow, but just try to channel the energy in a way that is positive for you. Especially if you are a Cancer ascendant. This is in your second house of speech. Oh boy, don't watch your words, Cancers, because you could really say something and hurt people, and that's not productive. Okay. Luckily, Purva Falguni is about relaxation, right? It's the hammock, it's the marriage bed. So try to relax, you guys. Try to, go to the pool, cool off. It's going to be hot. I mean, it's just been hot here for a couple weeks. Pretty sick of it. But just knowing that this is going on, like, just don't engage. Don't let other people trigger you, right? Don't let other people upset you. It's not worth it. All right. Okay. Then now we have July 20th to the 31st. We have our new moon, which is on July 24th at 3:12 p.m. at 7 degrees, 55 minutes of Cancer. Pushya Nakshatra. I love Pushya. And let's see, we have Mercury retrograde with our new moon. And that's, like I said, our psychic intuition will be very strong at this time. Um, Visions we've had from the past you might remember them. You might have some deja vus. But Cancer is the sign of the mother, and Pushya is the star of nourishment. So ask yourself, what is nourishing you, especially what is nourishing your mind, because Mercury's there. However, in Jyotish, we say that the moon is the mind, right? So this is really about taking care of our mental health during this new moon. Take a bath, right? Take a nice cool bath if you're really hot, if it's hot outside. Um, if you're down south on, the southern hemisphere, take a hot bath. Really try to be in water, try to listen to your dreams, make a delicious meal for your family or friends, and do some writing. I think that would be a great way to use this new moon energy. What else is significant here? Well, the new moon, let's see. From Bloomington, it is Libra, and 6 degrees forward, it would still be Libra for DC, making Venus the chart ruler. And Venus is in the 8th house with Uranus. So I would just say you could have a sudden boon of a financial wealth come in. That is definitely how this energy could pan out. Swati is really, it's great for business because it's about compromise, right? It's a blade of grass. It's able to be flexible and bend over and see somebody else's point of view, right? You just have to be careful of not being a pushover with Swati. But really, really focusing on higher knowledge. Saraswati, she's the co-ruler of Swati. Vayu is the main deity, and Vayu is the god of wind. Now, Swati and Ardra are associated with storms. And here we have Jupiter and Ardra, and they are only 4 degrees apart, not a bad orb. And they are both in air signs, meaning they are trining each other. There could be, I'm just going to say it, there could be some bad storms around this new moon, especially with Cancer. Luckily, the moon is not Gandanta. Neither is Mercury. Yeah, nobody's Gandanta. So that's a positive. But we still have this Neptune retrograde, right? So again, be careful of drownings. All right. I can't state that enough. I've been watching the Light for Levi, campaign to bring awareness and help to children who have gone through near fatal drownings, and it's just devastating to these families. But it's there's so much we're learning about how to reverse what happens. So yeah, it's the science is definitely improving around healing the brain. So watching the recovery of children that have gone through this has been very enlightening to me. But it shouldn't happen in the first place. So just please be careful. Please, please, please be careful around the water and storms, even on this new moon. Okay. Let's see. We have, like I said, Venus in the 8th. So on a personal level, you could suddenly meet somebody. 8th house is, I call it sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? So you could meet somebody who really sparks your love, right? A love interest. So that is a positive thing. But it also could represent attacks on women. So just ladies, be careful. I can't state that enough. Look, just all the things, right? Make sure you have protection, some sort of protection in your car or on your person at all times. Um, just have, a plan, what I'm going to do if I feel like I'm in an um, unsafe situation. And, you know, if you're going out, it's best to be in a pack. I shouldn't have to tell you people these things, but I remember growing up, my mom would always say, "You young ladies, you just think you can do whatever you want, but you just can't." And you know what? She was right. I was a wild child and I would just travel everywhere and it just always so worried. But anyway, just be careful, okay? Now on July 25th at 11:27 p.m. EST, we have Venus entering Gemini. So she steps away from Taurus and then joins Jupiter in Gemini. And these are the two gurus, and they are in the seventh house for the United States, showing that peace is finally going to start to come with our opponents. Yeah, I feel like we're in the kind of the beginning of the golden age. Next year is going to we're going to feel it. But with Venus being in our opponent's house with Jupiter, I think we're going to come to a permanent ceasefire by this time. And Venus in Gemini, let's see, that's Mercury is the Lord. She's very fun here. She's very fickle, right? Very interested in dating, meeting new people, not so interested in commitment, right, on a personal level. But with Jupiter, I just feel like our spirituality is going to increase and we're going to be, wanting more information about spirituality and our beliefs, right? And let's see. Mars is giving his eighth aspect, right? Yeah, he's been giving his eighth aspect to Saturn all month, right? And Saturn, let's see, is giving his third aspect to Taurus, seventh to Virgo, and 10th to Sagittarius. So that Saturn retrograde will affect all of you with those signs, your moon, Lagna, right? But Saturn putting pressure onto Uranus, I feel like, this tension is going to be here for the next, next 2 years, right? Really pushing us for peace and to step away from war. I feel like that's what that's going to be. And then July 28th at 10:38 a.m. EST, we have Mars entering Virgo. Thank God. But I will say, Mars in Virgo definitely will stir up viruses and people will probably get a little bit sicker around this time. I know they were talking about new COVID strains out. I can't keep track. There's thousands of them now, and every month I've got something new. But he's away from K2. So thank God for that. They are separating as of the 28th. So yay. Okay, so if you would like to have a reading with me in person, I am at the Fountain Square Mall, which is in Bloomington, Indiana. It's downtown on the square, and I'm suite number 250. It is by appointment, so just go to my website, which is hindustanastrology.com. And I have a new offering on there. Actually, I have two new offerings. I realized I didn't have a separate just psychic mediumship offering. So that is now up in increments of 15 minutes. And then I did a new combination reading offering. And what this is where you can mix three things together. I don't include Reiki in it, but like what I like to do is start with tarot, open up your chart, go through that. Um, and the whole time I'm receiving messages, and as they come through, I relay them. And then at the end, I pull an aromatherapy card for you. That's my favorite way to do readings. But some people just don't want cards or they just don't want astrology, and that is absolutely fine. I want to make sure you get what you need. So head on over, and I would love to book a reading with you. Okay. Okay, you guys. So that's it. So, yeah, buckle down. Make sure you've got your electrolyte powder and you're staying hydrated. Um, but back to what I was saying about my readings, the combination reading really is my favorite because we get to look at everything. And the cards really do complement Jyotish so well. So if you can't do it in person, I do readings on Zoom. So if you're in person, you will just click in-person reading, and then we decide at the reading what kind of reading you want. But if you're doing it online, you will do the other options. And don't forget to sign up for the newsletter. And yeah, if you have any questions, just shoot me a message. And until next time, namaste. And I'll see you later. Bye. All right, let's do our cards for this month. So this is a reading for the collective for the month of July 2025. Let's see what the tarot has to say. All right. So our first card that we have is the Emperor. And the Emperor is the Aries card. So he is the divine masculine principle. And so when he comes up, definitely it is about the traditional male role, about men. Every person has a feminine and masculine side. And being that, we've got this Mars K2 conjunction, I think this is what this is talking about. Really harnessing that Mars energy to cut away things that you don't need in your life, because K2 is about loss and surrender, and Mars is the soldier. And so the positive way, for us to utilize the Mars K2 energy is to be the emperor, right? Wield authority in your life. You be the authority. You don't have other people, lording over you. It's time for us to, as a collective, to take back our sovereignty, our personal sovereignty. And the emperor, he also talks about business and, things improving. So I think that's a positive spin on this Mars K2. The middle card, we have the Hanged Man, and he is in reverse. So this is us being in limbo land. We've been in this limbo land, while these wars have been going on. Things have just been up in the air, and with the crazy tariffs and, just all the craziness going on. We are starting to come out and get some action, get some things done. However, if you notice the Neptune, this is the Neptune card, and we do have Neptune going retrograde. So the fact that he is reversed is very telling of, like I said in the video, when Neptune is direct, the veil is up. The illusions, the deceit, everything. But when Neptune goes retrograde, it's like that veil parts and we finally see the truth. And so that's also what this card is talking about. Yeah. Now, for the third card, we have the Four of Stones, the power of the earth reversed. Excuse me. I've always found the way this manifests in our personal lives, a lot of times it talks about property. It talks about, finding your place. Whether it is, finding your place in a circle of friends, finding your place in your career, feeling like you've come into your purpose. But, the real estate market has really been in shambles because of the interest rates. People can't get a mortgage. Only people with cash are buying homes. Um, and the fact that this is reversed is telling me that no, this is where we've been, right? Um, we have not found our place. But we're coming out of it. And so always think about reverse cards aren't always negative. It's more about their loading, kind of like how a document loads and then it becomes upright. Okay. So, yeah, I think this is, Tarot is trying to tell us, use this Mars K2 to get rid of things in your life that you don't need. Because if you don't do that, that's when the accidents occur, right? Because K2 forcibly takes those things from you. So you take charge and, you know, um, be the authority. Pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to illusions, deceptions that are being found out, particularly with authority figures. I think this is also that's about, and, keep focusing on finding your place. And maybe the real estate market will turn around. Um, but, just remember, we've got lots of good things that are changing. We've just got to get through the month of July, get into August, and things will start to even out. And I can't wait for October through December when Jupiter is in Cancer. So cut away the dead wood, you guys. That's what this month is about, because if you don't, it will catch on fire by itself. So I hope that helps you. If you want to book a reading with me, head on over to hindustanastrology.com. We can do a full Celtic cross spread. We can do lots of different spreads, relationship spreads. So I hope that helps. And until next time, see you later. Bye.